I'm one of the teachers here. I'm a volunteer instructor. I'm not an Ariel staff member, but I've been here for many years. First started as a student here back in 1980 and came here relatively new in Messianic ministry and learned a lot of my Bible here. And so over the years, I had increasing volunteer responsibilities, leading music, doing a little bit of teaching here and there. And finally, in 1990, I guess it was, I really found my niche, which is teaching Jewish history. And so over the years, I've done a lot of that sort of teaching, taught other subjects, taught Messianic Jewish history, and things that are associated, all as a volunteer. Again, I come here because I realize how effective the ministry is. Very simply, I think what Ariel is distinguished by among Jewish missions is the fact that they're really concerned not just in making new believers and stamping out new believers, but really in the area of discipleship. It's one thing to make a profession of faith. It's another thing to go on in your walk with the Lord. And oftentimes, we've seen Jewish believers make professions of faith on the spur of the moment, but nothing comes of that. They really don't go on with the Lord. And when you understand the wealth of the Scriptures and understand the resources that are available, there's really no excuse for that to happen. And so I've appreciated over the years that the materials from Ariel Ministries, the vision of the ministry in general to work with various different ministries. One thing about Ariel is many other Jewish Messianic ministries have sent young people here to learn Scripture, to be discipled, and so it's worked out real well. Ariel Ministries has a number of branches around the world, and even though I'm not a staff member, I'm not connected in a formal way, over the years I've seen some very effective ministries from Ariel in evangelism and outreach. For many years there was a Baltimore branch that wound up leading many young Jewish people to saving faith in Messiah, Yeshua. The branch in Israel is effective the same way. A number of the other branches. Most of this is done through the context of Messianic Jewish, both Bible studies, discipleship groups, and fellowships. These will often attract Jewish people who are not yet believers in Yeshua, in Jesus as Messiah, and because they're seeing a genuine Jewish expression, and it becomes evident as they look at the people who are teaching that one actually can be Jewish and believe that Yeshua, that Jesus is the Messiah. Well, discipleship is really what Ariel Ministries is known for. It's probably the thing that it most excels in. Discipleship is not an optional thing according to the Scripture, and it's sad to see it not get this sort of attention in the overall body of Messiah that it deserves. You know, in this life, waves come and go and we get shaken, but if we are rooted and grounded in the Word, we have something to come back to, who we are, what is our identity in the Messiah. And I think that the fact that the Ariel Ministries Bible teaching program, although it's considered very rigorous by some, really it's that which prepares people for the rigors of the world. It's not a light-duty thing. The full course here would be 5 summers. If you go for 3 weeks each summer, for a total of 5 summers, you've done the program. And I did that over twice in the early 80s, and it was a wonderful help to our ministry. And it really is something that I would recommend for every believer. This place started out to disciple Jewish believers in the earliest part of its history, and then ultimately it was opened up to whosoever would want to come for the discipleship. And for that reason, we have people who come year after year to complete that 5-year program. And in fact, just 2 years ago, we graduated 3 individuals who are now active in ministry in various parts of the world. I think the easiest way, the simplest way, the least expensive way to get involved is to download some of the free materials that are on the website. These materials are Bible college level training material. the sort of thing that you would get if you enrolled as a formal student with tuition at an online Bible college. A lot of that material is free for the download on the Ariel website. There are accompanying audio tapes. If you'd want the DVD, they're available at nominal cost. But you can download practically a full 4-year Bible college sort of program. That would be one step, one way to do it. Then it's not enough for you to take that in, because the old preachers used to say that if you just sit and soak, eventually you'll sour. And you don't want to just sit and soak it all up. You really want to be a conduit. If you just have a static body of water, it becomes stagnant. You want to take the word in and then give others the word. And so you want to be able to take some of that Ariel Bible teaching material, start a home Bible study. There's actually a workbook that takes you by the hand, if you're willing to work a little bit, and to allow you to lead a home Bible study on the Jewish aspects of the life of Messiah. And it's a workbook. It has all the answer sheets. It has questions. It has handouts. It has sort of studies where you can actually have people in. This can be done in a church setting. This can be done in a home setting. It's being used literally around the world. Recently got an email from someone in South Africa using this to teach Scripture in a rural situation. So it's used outside the church as well. But the life of Messiah, there's a whole study material program there that can be used in any setting. The Lord has called me to not keep Messiah to myself. I came to understand that Yeshua, that Jesus is my Jewish Messiah, came out of a background that was staunchly Jewish. All 4 of my grandparents were born into Jewish villages in Eastern Europe. And at the moment I came to faith that Yeshua was the Messiah, I realized it would be the most life-changing decision I would ever make. And it was clear that Yeshua, that Jesus is the Messiah for all of our Jewish people. If you take seriously the idea that Yeshua is our long-awaited Jewish Messiah, that's not something you can kind of hide. That's something you need to be talking about. And so very early onward, I recognized that while being in the dental field would have served me well as I came up in it, that's something my father prepared me to do. I realized that I needed to devote my life to talking about our Messiah. And so because of that gift that God has given to me of revealing his Messiah to me, the evidence is there for the rest of my own Jewish people to recognize that Yeshua, Hu HaMashiach, that Yeshua, Jesus, is our Messiah. And that's what motivates me. I've been coming here, my very first year was 1978. It was a very primitive affair. I've seen the changes over the years, and I've seen lots of people make great sacrifices in their time and their talents to bring this place to the condition where it would really serve as a training ground to send people out to share Messiah. And so it's a very comfortable place. Literally, this year's summer camp, there are people from almost every continent. We have a couple here from Africa. We have people here from New Zealand, from Australia, from Japan, from the former Soviet Union, from Europe, many people from Canada, and of course a good number of people from America. There's probably about 1/3 of us here who are Jewish believers in Messiah Jesus, 2/3 who are thrilled at the Jewish roots of their faith in Jesus. And of course the camp is open to all. Everyone gets along real well, no matter what background they're coming from, whether Jewish or non-Jewish. All of these things are recognized as things that are important to us. Certainly they are. But in the overall scheme of things, God has put us together as a single family in the Messiah. And I'm genuinely, sincerely appreciative of that. The church in general needs to not be fearful of the Jewish roots of the faith. Those roots are there, whether people want to acknowledge them or not. The fact is that Jesus was born into a Jewish home, into a Jewish village called, at that time, Bethlehem. It was the same village that King David was born in. He was born into the Jewish country of Judea. He was born of a Jewish mother and grew up in the Jewish synagogue. All of those things are simple facts. They dovetail perfectly with who we are as born-again believers in Messiah Jesus. This is something we need not be fearful of. We're not going back under the law by embracing those simple truths, but rather the context that Jesus and the apostles lived in opens up when you as a believer acknowledge those Jewish roots. It's not going to change your faith, but rather it will deepen and enrich it. And so my plea to the general church is to recognize and be happy to explore the Jewish roots of their faith in Jesus as the Jewish Messiah.
I want to invite you to take a look at our website, revelationstvseries.org. It's produced by Horizon Media Studios. It's a 501c3 media ministry, and what we're doing is helping other ministries tell their story. Homeless shelters and children's homes, Bible colleges, seminaries, mission sending agencies. With your help, we can continue to help tell their story, to inspire the world, to shine their light and let God get the glory for the work that's being done in advancing the kingdom of Jesus Christ.